Hello and welcome to another episode of French Ear Trumpet. I'm Andy from AJ in France, joined as usual by Colin from French Countryside Life. And Happy New Year to everyone. And this is, I'm going to say, the first episode of 2026, but it's actually not. A quick explanation. We did one last week, but technical difficulties between the keyboard and my seat meant that it didn't record. So, yes, unfortunately, it we had nothing to put out last week. So we're going to do kind of a rerun on it, and yeah, just go into current affairs, what's happening, and what it means for us in the new year, and how this year will probably shape up, looking at what's going on in the world. But one of the questions I asked was, oh, in fact, let me just tell you how this came about. Today at work, I said I was sat with three other guys from work, all mid-20s, French, all French. And I said to them, look, we do this podcast, a couple of times a month. What is, everyone will be interested to know, expats will be interested to know, at the moment, what is the number one topic that the French people is on the news, or what are people talking about, or what is getting the most attention? And they were split between two things. One of them was the imminent collapse of the French government
Again,
again. And I said, look, listen, welcome to the club. We've had like the last 5 or 6 years, I don't know how many prime ministers we've gone through, and it's been a complete mess. And it's continuing along that kind of theme as we go. I said, so don't worry about that. I said, what else is? He said, well, everybody is talking about Greenland.
yeah, I mean,
That's quite surprising, really, but yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's all about NATO as well, really, isn't it? That's at the bottom of it. The over the years, the US has pretty much single-handedly funded NATO. Obviously, there's been input from all the other countries, but with the first Trump term, he kind of said, you're gonna have to stand on your own 2 feet because he's putting America first. But yeah, I guess we'll see. What's interesting is that we did the podcast last week, and we talked about this, and since then, things have moved on.
Yes, yeah,
So yeah, so uh, I
as
think
they
we'll
do.
just yeah, I think we'll just go back to where we was a week ago, and then we'll see what's changed.
Right. Well, the first question I ask you is, what do you think about the whole situation? The current state of affairs in. I suppose we could include Iran as well, can't we? So,
Yeah, yeah, I think that's yeah. Actually, I can talk about that as it happens. So let's just talk about the whole Venezuela thing. So as
oh
I say,
yeah, of course, I
yeah.
forgot.
So
Do you
as I
know
say, things have
that just tells you how quick the news cycle
yeah,
goes? Because Venezuela, oh, that's so last week. That
yeah.
is so
Well,
last week.
was what did I say? Today's newspaper, tomorrow's chip paper.
Exactly. Go on. But yeah, but good, yeah, good point. Yeah, let's go back to Venezuela.
Yeah. So I looked into this last week, and it was really interesting actually. So the idea of regime change in South America. I mean, you could probably throw a stone into South America and hit three dictators on the head.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, so the idea of regime change in Venezuela is I think a bit of a red herring. Um, so Venezuela has the largest proven oil reserves in the world,
yeah.
more than Saudi, more than Nigeria, and more than any other country. They've got 303 billion barrels, which is worth $17 trillion. Now, let's just billions and trillions and millions, but people don't get the idea of
Wow.
the vast difference between those. So the way to illustrate it is with seconds. So a million seconds is 11 days. Okay. A billion seconds is 31.7 years.
Wow.
Right. And this is the shocker. A trillion seconds is 31,700 years.
That is absolutely insane, isn't it?
So a trillion is a lot.
Newsflash.
Yeah. So when you think that, I think Elon Musk is on his way to being the first
I was
trillionaire,
just
isn't
thinking about that when you said it.
he?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, so that's just gives you an idea of the figures involved here. So China needs oil.
China.
China needs oil. Okay. Um, so 60 to 90% of Venezuela's oil is bought by China.
Ooh, I did
Now
not
that's
know.
not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now, because of recent events, that won't be going to China now. You can bet your bottom $1 trillion on that. That's not going to China. So China also buys 85 to 90% of Iran's oil,
Yeah, I get. Yeah, yeah.
right? So the US is making a show of this. Well,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
they're playing the good guy, right? In Iran. Okay, so they're instigating regime change, but it's the CIA in it, or some other three-letter acronym of
Yeah,
US agency.
MFI,
Actually,
probably.
actually, when Andy when Andy told me that French instrument hadn't recorded, so we couldn't publish it. It just seemed a little bit convenient that we've been talking about Trump and the CIA and all the rest of
You get your tinfoil hat out the cupboard.
it. Yeah. Call me old-fashioned.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so um, if Venezuela and
Mm.
Iran aren't able to send their oil to China, China's going to lose 70% of its oil imports.
So where else does it buy oil from? It must buy it from the normal sources,
Yeah, probably
Middle
probably
East.
Saudi, probably yeah, Middle East and West Africa's got a lot of oil as well. Nigeria and all that. They're
Well, with the Silk Road Initiative, they're quite big in Africa now, aren't they? The presence
yeah,
of
yeah,
China is massive. They're building infrastructure, schools, roads, the lot
yeah, yeah, yeah.
to
So
cash in on the rare minerals.
just just looking back at Venezuela again, uh, there's a there's a cartel there called the Cartel de la Sol, Cartel of the Sun, and it's run by the generals that run the government of Venezuela.
Right.
So,
That doesn't sound healthy, if I'm honest.
well, yeah, no, there is that. Um, so just looking briefly back, and with a scattergun at the recent history of Venezuela, the collapse of oil prices in 2014, combined with the mismanagement of the state oil company by Maduro, triggered the initial economic spiral and inflation and everything that goes with it.
Right.
Um, yeah, so everyone had their hand in the pot, and was feather in their own nest, and don't worry about the people.
It's
You
is
know.
the whole thing though is very curious. Like the extradition of a leader of their own country is mind-boggling. I
It
mean, can
is, yeah, it
you?
really is.
It's not like popping down the shops for a loaf of bread. I mean, this is a proper incursion into foreign. or
Oh, I mean,
well,
it's
no, there's a
a
better way of putting it than that, is it?
Venezuela is
Sovereign territory.
I was just about to say, it's
Kidnapping a
akin to,
geezer.
it's a, it, actually, if someone had pitched a movie to you, right? If you was a film studio and someone pitched a movie to you to say, right, so there's going to be this orange man, right, in the White House, and he's going to say, I want you to go and kidnap the president of a South American country at 2 o'clock in the morning and bring him back here, and we're going to put him on trial. You'd say, well, that's preposterous. No one's going to watch that.
Yeah, yeah, I know. In fact, it reminds me of a film, one of my favorite war films. Is it Michael Caine's in it? The Eagle Has Landed. Is it
Okay,
that? So
I'm
it's
not
a
sure to be honest. Yeah.
German. So it's told from a German perspective,
Right,
and they're tasked with going and kidnapping Winston Churchill.
right,
So they get into, yeah, it is the Eagle has landed. So they get loads of German troops who speak English, and they get them into England, and they take over a small Oxfordshire town,
right,
um, dressed as American soldiers.
right.
And they carry out exercises and maneuvers, and they just take over this town looking like Americans
Yeah,
because they know Winston Churchill's going to visit one of the stately homes on the outskirts. And the
yeah.
idea is to capture him and get him on a submarine that's waiting by the coast and get him back to Germany. I'm sure Michael Caine's in it, but it's a fantastic
Actually,
film.
that's my one and only impression I do. Michael Caine in Michael Caine in Zulu.
All right, go on then.
Right?
I'm going to regret
Okay.
this. Go on.
Michael Caine in Zulu. Oh, throw that bloody spear at me.
A round of applause
I
for the
bet you're right.
impression.
We're awake.
Anyway, getting back to the topic on hand.
Yeah,
So you see the pictures of the guys that brought him back, with DEA on their vest and all
yeah,
that. But obviously, something like that is going to be probably Delta Force or someone like that. It's not
yeah,
actually
yeah. I mean,
DEA.
it's probably
Complete
a
nonsense.
CIA operation with Delta Force. Yeah,
Yeah, and the sad thing is they won't publicize it, but people have died for that. People in the Venezuelan side, a lot of
hundreds,
people will have died for that.
hundreds. Because the Americans bombed the Venezuelan Air Force bases, didn't they?
Well, yeah, not only that, well, yeah, but
And
people running up the
people
steps,
around it, and that.
people are going to be killed all the time. I mean, it's just that he could just throw away lives like that, and because he
Yeah,
can't do it diplomatically, I guess
yeah,
is the thing. But I can just imagine if you look at it from a semi-comedy or satirical point of view, Donald Trump in the White House on the phone to Maduro, and it's like, well, look, no, I need you to do this, and he goes, no, no, no. Right, well, come here and speak to me. No, 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 I'm staying where I am. Well, we'll see about that.
yeah, yeah.
Like
Did you
two
see
days
that?
later, he's there.
There was there was an interview, but I can't remember what the guy was. But there was two guys that were in the diplomatic service in the US, and they were sat in on the meeting between the Taliban leaders and Trump.
Oh,
And
this must have been in 2019, maybe somewhere like that.
yeah,
19, something
yeah,
like that.
yeah, in the first term. And this guy said that Trump came in and he said, right, I want this phased release, so a phased withdrawal. And he said, it's going to take 18 months. And if one hair on the head of an American serviceman is damaged, I'm going to blow you and your family up. And he reached into his pocket and he took out a photograph of this Taliban leader's house and just give it to him and walked out.
That's mad.
Isn't it?
He's absolutely crazy, that guy.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy. Yeah. So anyway, looking at it now, do you think, I mean, this is what I came to the conclusion. Slowly it's forming large blocks of countries to take over the power of the world, if you see what I mean. Things are getting bigger. You're gonna have, so you've got Europe,
When you
you've
say
got
power, do you mean political power or
economic, military, political,
right?
large.
Yeah,
So you've
yeah,
got America on one side, you've got China and Russia.
yeah. But it's always been that way, isn't it?
Yeah, but to a point now where they're looking to gather up all the resources they can for their particular group, if you see what I mean.
Yeah. Well, it's just tribal behavior, isn't it?
Yeah, I can see that. And another thing about Venezuela is normally when you depose a leader, you've got someone in mind to come in, sweep in and take over, like an
Well,
opposition. But there
funny you
isn't
should say
really.
that. Well, you say that in the news today. The opposition leader in Venezuela, a lady called Maria Corina Machado, she was the Nobel Peace Prize winner. She went to the White House for a meeting with Trump and gave him the Peace Prize,
Oh,
which
wow.
he wanted,
Obviously, yeah.
which he wanted. Yeah, so she's going to be. You could say that
Hmm.
Trump's enabled the proper the proper democratic process. You could say that, or you could say that she's going to be the puppet, for Trump.
Well, I guess we'll see, won't we?
But
But
yeah, yeah,
so then thinking about Iran, I heard on the news today that the son of the Shah,
that's right.
who was deposed in
Yeah,
was it 70s? I say late 70s maybe.
yeah, yeah.
Um, he has come on the radio tonight, or I heard it on the radio, saying that he's ready to take over. He's ready to
Yeah,
go back to how it was before with
yeah.
the Shah.
It says Iran's exiled crown prince has been given a news conference in Washington, D.C. as uncertainty continues over whether or not the US will intervene to support Iranian protesters. And he says that the Islamic Republic will fall.
I'm pretty certain now there's enough momentum inside Iran for there's some kind of change, massive change.
Yeah,
But it's going to come at an enormous, as it always does, an enormous cost, usually in human lives,
yeah.
because they're just shooting people, aren't they? And apparently they're treating it as a crime against God. So there is no trial really for that. You
No.
just get executed,
Mm.
which
Okay.
is
Well, yeah, there's
brutal.
a headline here. It just we said last week, obviously no one saw it, but we said last week that it feels like I went to bed in 2019
Yeah.
and someone slipped me into this alternative universe where everything's crazy. 'Cause, as a headline, right? If you read this 15 years ago, right, this headline, Trump thanks Iranian leadership for cancelling over 800 hangings.
Yes. Cheers, mate. Thanks for doing that.
Yeah,
Much appreciated.
yeah, yeah. They just they ran out of rope. They're gonna have to start recycling.
It's
Honestly,
mad. So it's no surprise that Iran has an awful lot of oil as well. An
yeah.
awful lot.
There you go. Yeah. Well, it's yeah. So what I was saying earlier was that, and it was pretty obvious what I was saying there was that it's a Trump plan to strangle China's
Hmm.
manufacturing base. And what was interesting, something that you said last week that I didn't realise was that China's never really been a colonizer in terms of invasion.
No.
I didn't realise that, and yeah, it's quite interesting. Puts a different shade on things, doesn't it?
Hmm. It's like
Uh,
when they did the first Iraq War, there was only I think there was only one country in the Middle East at the time that had never made any threats towards America or the West, or never invaded America or the West, because you had quite a lot of problems back in the day, and that was Iraq. No one had never made any maneuvers or any threats or anything towards America, and yeah, that became a target. I guess they based it around the invasion of Kuwait, didn't they? So they did it more to protect Kuwait, but it never really harmed any Americans
mm.
or anything like that, which was
I remember like years ago now, when I was working, um, we did the transport for this guy who was the general of SOCOM, which is Special Operations Command, and they sent over a SEAL team to look after him, protect him in London, and when this guy did eventually turn up, um, he had a personal bodyguard that just didn't leave his side. And a lot of the SEALs were great big, not huge, but large fellas, obviously well fed and fit and that. And this fella that was a bodyguard, I guess he was about 5'6", 7 maybe. Wasn't very tall and wiry, you know, long hair, great big moustache like that. One of those the pattern moustaches. And I said to one of the SEAL team guys, I said, what's the story with this guy then? And he said, mate, he's a bit of a legend in the SF circles. He said at the start of the Kuwait War, when Iraqis first invaded Kuwait, he said they gave him a list of names and addresses, and they just set him off on his own, and he just went around and put a red line for each name.
mad.
Yeah.
Nice.
You see movies and that, and you think, yeah, it's just a movie. But I think real life is sometimes crazier than anything that's, well, I mean, with the things that we've just been talking about,
Yeah,
no one would ever
absolutely.
write that as a film script, would they?
No, I mean, you'd never predict it. You could never predict that that was going to happen. It's like, so quick question for you then. With Donald
Yeah.
Trump, he's obviously got a hard line here. He can't go past, this is his final term. So I think he's in power till 2029. Is that right? I think
Right.
somewhere around there.
Yeah.
It's impossible for him to carry on. Do you think he's going to find a way around it, or do you think that's it for him? He's going to retire? What's your thoughts?
I think any decision to force a third term would be seen certainly by the left uh, as confirming their fears of a dictatorship. Um, I think every person in power, especially like your average megalomaniac, they all want a legacy, don't they?
They all want to keep hold of power. That's one thing they've
Yeah,
got in common. So
yeah, yeah,
once they
yeah,
get power, they'll do anything to keep it, I think.
yeah. But I think there's too many checks and balances. Certainly with because they've got a constitution. I think there's too
Yeah.
many checks and balances to for him just to steal it or grab it. Fortunately. Um,
Yeah. I'm going to go on record and saying I'd like to think so. Like, I'd like to know that, that rules still exist and that things that have applied to everybody since the state was, well, since the USA was born, in fact, the rules applied to everybody. Nobody's been able to really get around it. So it'd be nice to know that just because he is the current president, he can't change the rules to make it better for him.
yeah.
Once you get the person in power able to change the rules in favor of himself, it becomes very much a situation where he's not put there through the people, he's put there
Mm,
through wielding power, and then
yeah,
that's a uh, dangerous way to carry on, I think.
yeah. I think he's very much in favour of a dynasty. If you look at his youngest son,
All right, okay. Hmm.
Baron Trump, I think he's going to be destined for great things. I say great, it's
I know what
a
you're saying.
subjective view, isn't it? But yeah, I think he's something for the future.
I think you've
Was
got to rem go on. Sorry, mate.
no, I was just going to say, should there be a Republican president next time again? Um, the obvious thing is to just assume that the vice president's going to step up and get, but that very rarely happens, does it? That the vice president takes over.
No, no. I mean,
Very
look at
rare.
like you mentioned. I think it was last week. Vice, the film.
Yeah,
That's mad. If anyone hasn't
yeah.
seen it, it's
Oh my God,
Vice is
yeah.
an excellent film about Dick Cheney.
Dick Cheney, who
He
just
was
he
the
recently passed away, didn't
Yeah, he was well, not surprised when you watch the film. He's had about 50 heart attacks, hasn't he?
he? Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
but it's a great film.
Oh,
Christian
just I'll
Bale,
tell
I
you
think
what, it opened my eyes. If you can only assume that it's true, you
yeah.
know.
Well,
But
lawyers have been gonna have gone through it like with a fine tooth comb.
of course, yeah, of course. But the thing that I took away from it most was that George W. was just a useful idiot.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, you could see that from it. He was worlds away from his dad anyway, wasn't he? His dad was
Yeah,
completely different. Um, yeah, interesting. You could
yeah,
see it. But I always remember watching the video of him sat reading to the kids,
yeah, yeah, yeah. When
and,
someone,
and someone comes in
yeah,
and tells him about 9/11. He just practically just he didn't know what to do, did he?
no,
Basically,
no,
I think everyone in their right
he
mind would
wished,
have just said, "I'm sorry, I've got to leave.
yeah,
Let's go." But no.
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he wanted to listen to see what happened in the end of the book. I don't know.
You could think so,
Yeah.
but excellent acting by Christian Bale. It's just
Christian Bale, yeah, just
superb,
brilliant. And
masterpiece.
who was the actor who played George W? Something
Uh,
Rocks.
ro- is it? We'll find out. We'll find out.
Yeah, Rock.
Yeah, I know you mean, but he
Yeah,
was brilliant. Absolutely
yeah,
brilliant.
just yeah. I mean, and he
Sam
had it all.
Rockwell. Sam Rockwell.
Sam Rockwell, there you go, just brilliant. I think he's one of the great underrated actors, actually.
So there's a film with Sam. God, we're getting off on a tangent as usual.
That's all right.
But
Go on.
there was a film that Sam Rockwell did, and low budget, but it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. It's called Moon.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, good movie.
You seen it?
Yeah, yeah,
And for those watching, it's a guy who's on his own on a moon base, overseeing the mining machines that work there.
yeah.
And he's coming towards the end of his tenure, and he's going to get replaced by someone else that's coming up to replace him. And he's really looking forward to going, isn't he? And there's a few incidents that occur on the base, and yeah, it's quite interesting to see what happens. But it's a
Yeah.
good twist. It's brilliant.
He was really good in I can't remember the name of the movie, the complete, but it's something like Two Posters Outside Stebbing, Missouri, or something like that.
Two
Two
billboards.
billboards.
Oh, I know the one you mean now.
It
Yeah,
was a Coen Brothers movie, wasn't it?
yeah,
I
yeah.
believe so. But so good, so good.
So, quick question, because we're on movies. Have you seen 28 Years Later?
I have, yeah.
What did you think?
It was a standalone movie, I think.
Yeah,
I think it was, yeah, I think it was a standalone movie. I don't think you needed to watch the first two to watch that one. And I think they was sort of flogging a dead horse, to be honest.
yeah. It wasn't very good, I
Yeah.
don't think, for
No,
me.
it wasn't. Yeah.
I didn't enjoy it. But there's a new
I
one
was
that's just come
expecting
out.
more.
And another one. recently with Ray Fiennes in it.
Right.
And I forgot what it's called, but I'll find out. So 28 something. It's a prequel to the 28 years later.
Right.
Yeah, but never mind. Never
Yeah.
mind. So it goes. Uh, right. So another film, getting back to the topic of Greenland. Have you seen the film Greenland with Gerald Butler in it?
Gerard Butler. Yeah. 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 It's,
Gerald.
what's that?
Gerald,
Sorry, second.
Gerard Butler, not Gerald, as I
Not
just said.
Gerald Butler.
Have you seen it,
Yeah.
the film?
Good movie. Yeah. Yeah. Good
Yeah, it's
movie.
all right
Good
because the second one's
popcorn
coming out.
movie, isn't it?
Yeah, it's proper good. Second one's coming out, so there's going to be another one.
Yeah. I think it ended with them. Oh, actually, I better not say anything because
Nah,
it
so
goes through around lost it.
obviously
What?
Gerard Butler goes to Greenland. Well, he's not going to need a passport this time, is he? If Donald
No,
Trump has him,
no, just walked in there.
mad. Yeah. So mineral deposits in Greenland. I've just been
Right.
reading are
Okay.
huge,
Yeah.
absolutely massive.
Yeah. Well, Greenland's big, you know.
Yes,
Greenland's a big place.
and there's not many people living it either.
No,
So
it was. Yeah.
yeah, interesting, interesting. So where were we getting back to? So we've done Venezuela,
Yeah.
Iran, Iran, Ukraine. Interestingly, so I was reading an article about the Ukraine war.
Okay.
One of the missiles, these hypersonic missiles,
Yep. It's been
hit
used, isn't it?
hit a town in Ukraine. And when they got to it and took it all apart, because some of it was still left, they found really old technology dating back to the 60s in it,
Oh, really?
namely vacuum tubes and stuff like that.
No,
Now, I'm
no.
not an
I thought it was
expert.
going to say rubber bands.
Well,
Of
so vacuum tubes are a really old piece of kit. They predated the transistor.
course, yeah.
They do a similar kind of job, but they're
I'm so old, right? When
I'm so old.
I'm so old. When my brother was little, we used to live with my nan and granddad, and they used to have a TV repairman come round every now and again when the TV broke, and I think they used to call him Telly John. Telly John. Telly's gone wrong, but called Telly John, and he'd
Yeah.
come round and change a couple of vacuum tubes. There you go, it's fixed.
So that my dad used to be a TV repairman, and yeah,
There you go. Yeah.
so that was that, but that was a long time ago.
Anyway,
So
yeah. Yeah, yeah. So so they found old technology in this hyper. I didn't understand, right? Hypersonic missile from Russia to Ukraine. So about 10 yards, isn't it, from Russia to Ukraine? How's it going to get? Was it fly the other way around the world? Does it? And
sneak up on them
coming
from
from the other
behind.
side, where they're not expecting.
I think, yeah, but what it does is it goes really high up, like an intercontinental ballistic missile, really high up, and then drops
Yeah,
really down really quick. I don't think it's like a Tomahawk like cruise missile which flies and hugs the ground as it goes
yeah, yeah.
or anything like that. I think it's more up and a downer. But
Mm.
someone was saying it might be because the valves are impervious to jamming technology or something like that. But I don't think so. It's just
Yeah,
old technology, which is
yeah.
interesting. Yeah. But so I know I asked you on a couple of seasons, series episodes ago. Um, What do you think the likely outcome of the Ukraine-Russia war was? Have you changed your mind? Can you see what's going to happen now?
Who knows? Anything could happen. Watch this space. Anything could happen. Just who knows? Who knows? I I've never really understood why. I think I said this before. I never really understood when when the conflict first started. Was it 2 years ago now?
Well, I guess it depends how you look at it. In 2014, they took Crimea, didn't they?
Crimea, yeah, I suppose, yeah, you're right. But this present conflict
Two
now,
years, I think, ish. Yeah.
I never really understood when it first took place. We was all told to be terrified of Russian forces trundling across Europe,
Mm.
smashing into Germany. That's why we got British bases in Germany, smashing across Europe in, in like a dad's army sort of thing, get
Oh
into the
yeah.
channel, you know what I mean? But they just didn't do it. They just like got to the border, had a bit of a punch up, killed a bunch of people, and just stayed there. Really, it's just like a
Well, if you remember early
like a
on in the
meat
war,
grinder for young men, isn't it?
they did do they tried to assault Kiev, didn't they?
Yeah,
And they just got stuck in the mud, and then
yeah,
the whole thing got obliterated. And don't forget, there was that whole thing with the mercenary group. Do you remember?
yeah. The Wagner Group, yeah,
Wagner Group, and he fell out with Putin, and then lo and behold, his
yeah,
plane was shot out of the sky.
yeah,
I've got to say, if I'd just fallen out with Putin, the last thing I would be doing is boarding a private jet with close to or near the limits of Russia. I
yeah.
mean,
And also, the other thing that's probably dangerous to your health is to have a hotel room that's above the ground floor.
yeah, can you imagine
Because
ex-Russian
you're
generals
liable to
booking
get
in?
launched out the window, aren't you, by the FSB?
Yeah, can you imagine that? Checking in. Yeah, I've got I love your room on the fifth floor. No, you're all right, mate. I'll take
No,
the
no, you're
first.
right. Yeah, yeah. I'll sleep in a bin out the back.
We laugh, but I mean, it is just that these are the methods and what a dictator does, doesn't it? So,
Yeah,
if you don't agree with him,
yeah.
have
So
you
would
seen
you
that
would you
film?
would
Go on.
you call, obviously not to his face, but would you call Putin a dictator then?
Well, I can't think of any other real word of describing it. Can you?
No.
It's definitely an autocracy. Like, there's no other method of. It's not a democracy, so no one
Yeah.
can get rid of him peacefully, and he can stay
So
there as long as he likes.
so excuse my ignorance, right? So I understand democracy, obviously. I understand a meritocracy, but what's an autocracy?
An autocracy is kind of like a state where it's all about the state. It's the same thing. It doesn't change. So
Right.
it all goes
Hmm.
along and it doesn't change. I mean, you've got like
So does that mean that China's an autocracy?
I would say so, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. But they tend to be covers for a dictatorship. I mean, if you look at a proper, but then you've got to look at something like Saudi Arabia, which is run by the royal family. So it'll never,
Yeah.
so I guess that would be as well, because that's just run by the same regime. It just keeps being passed on
Hmm.
to the same kinds of people, the same will never change. You can't
Hmm.
vote for big change in the country. Like, for example, take France or the UK or maybe not America, but or Spain. If someone came along and was genuinely brilliant and had a party behind him and they say, look, things are going to be different, and everybody in the country said, right, that's what we want, regardless of what the current administration thought, then it would change.
Hmm.
Um, and I think that's good to know that that would happen. If not, you're stuck with the same stuff until it is either a war, a revolution, or yeah, I guess that's it. War or
Yeah,
revolution.
I'm firmly convinced that we were talking about legacies earlier, that every leader wants to leave a legacy, that it takes 25 years for a legacy to be recognised. So, as an example, um, the two legacies that took 25 years are Thatcher and Reagan. So Thatcher at the time of her power, other than the Falklands, she was despised. Everybody, most people despised her. Yet now they look back at the Iron Lady and say, "Oh, she was great for the country, this, that." And Reagan is, well, so I say most people,
No,
but
I know what you're saying. Is
yeah, and Reagan's the same at the time. You know, even though he wasn't, despised to the same level,
Hmm.
um, they look back on now as the golden years.
Yeah, I wonder how much of that is to do with the fact that how bad your memories are. And I don't mean like individual people, I mean like as a public.
I was going to say, I can't remember what I had for breakfast.
Yeah, so you don't live in those times now, so it doesn't affect you. So how would you know? And most of the people that were there have moved on, or they're not really interested. So we're looking back in a historical point of view, and I've got to agree, although I don't really like Margaret Thatcher or how she went about things, and the lasting damage we're still receiving from her time in power today, to this very day.
Yeah.
It is such a disastrous time. The thing that I do admire is how she made her way in the country that was like totally male orientated.
Yes.
The thought that a woman could lead the country would just not have been something you would consider. So to be able to beat them at their own game, if you see what I mean, or to get to there, you've got to admire the
Oh, yeah. The
stones on it.
chutzpah of it. Yeah. But at the time, there was a spitting image, wasn't there?
Oh yeah,
Which is, for anybody who doesn't know what that is, that was a
it's brilliant.
satirical, it was groundbreaking satirical puppetry, wasn't it?
And
With,
it was perfect for the time as well because you had some
oh,
great
it just
characters.
unbelievable. Yeah. So it was Thatcher as a man surrounded by the wet Tories. And yeah, Jeffrey Howe as a lettuce eating snail.
And then,
And
well, yeah,
it's
and then
brilliant.
you moved on, and then they had John
Norman
Major, who was
Tebbit as,
just
yeah,
grey, wasn't he? He was just
yeah,
grey.
yeah. John Major, yeah, yeah. Yeah, the great one.
So I grew up, but John Major was probably my sort of like 90s, wasn't he? So
Yeah,
he was my prime minister at the time. And at the
yeah.
time,
For me, it was Thatcher, really.
yeah, I wasn't really interested in politics. And it
Mm.
shows how things have changed massively. So there's one thing I'll say is we don't have a constitution in the UK, do we? So
Yeah, no.
it's based on honesty uh, and decency, I think.
Mm. Common law,
Uh,
yeah.
but I think that's all gone. I think the Boris Johnson government got rid of all that. So before Boris Johnson and after Boris Johnson are completely different types of government. So before Boris Johnson, if a MP was caught cash for questions or giving a bung to a mate or helping someone out, they'd resign, no question.
Mm.
I'll do the honest thing. I've messed up and I'll resign.
Mm.
Since the Boris Johnson government, people have realised don't need to do that. I can get away with anything I want. I can cling on to power and it doesn't really matter.
Mm.
Nobody really gets sacked. I suppose recently with the change of government, that is starting to come back. Like, you've had Angela Rayner who had to resign. You've had what was the other name of the person who had to
But, I
resign?
mean, that's almost like a temporary thing, though, isn't it? I'll just go and sit at the back of the room and don't talk for a couple of weeks, and we'll bring you back a bit later. Don't worry. People
But
got short memory.
it depends on what it was for.
Yeah, of course, yeah,
Yeah. But back in the Boris Johnson days, you could do anything you wanted. I mean, look at what they
yeah,
did in COVID. They're partying,
yeah,
breaking the law, no problems. The video's there.
yeah.
You know, what can you say about that? That's a different
Yeah.
breed of politician to what we had before. I like to
Mm.
think of my politicians, all right, like John Major, okay, he was boring, steadfastly statesman-like, but nothing interesting about him at all. And then
Mm.
apart from his affair, but that was it.
What do you
And
make of the Blair years then?
the Blair
I mean, that's
years,
a sweeping question, isn't it? Blimey.
well, the country has never been better off. Whether
Mm.
you like that administration or not, there was the health service was at its peak.
Yeah.
I remember him going on a question show, like I don't know, was it like a morning time question show? And the audience was annoyed because the doctor's appointment they got was within 48 hours and they wanted to schedule it a bit later. I mean, the world's apart than where we are now.
Yeah.
Education, well, you remember the slogan, education, education, education. Just
Yeah.
put
Of course.
so much money into education. It was brilliant.
Mm.
And the public services, I've never seen so much money because I was in it
Mm.
at that time.
Yeah. Of course.
And if you wanted money for something, no problem. You know, if there was an actual problem that needed resources, you had the money. You could go and
Mm.
deal with it. You could do that. You could get 4 hours overtime, 10 o'clock at night for six people every day of the week to go and
Mm.
sort a burglary or robbery hotspot out. No
Mm.
problem.
Mm.
So was that because of the the timing, like just because the 90s was a lot of money are floating around in the 90s?
Yeah.
Maybe. Maybe it was just that. But everything was managed right, like
And
the
then,
health service.
do you think it's a case of because it's 25 years plus, we're only remembering the good stuff?
What was the bad stuff? Everything worked. Prisons
Yeah.
weren't full.
Yeah. When you compare it to now,
But
it was a
yeah,
golden
but
age,
no,
wasn't
it's like a lorry's hit the wall and we're just picking bits up here and there.
it?
It's a
Yeah.
complete mess.
Yeah.
You could still afford a house. So in the 90s,
Yeah.
someone 20, 30-year old didn't,
Yeah. That was me.
or a young couple, mid-20s, could go out and start a flat, start a home,
Yeah.
no
That was
problem.
me. Yeah.
Can't do that now.
No.
So if you look at it that way, yeah, probably everyone will say the Iraq War, literally
Yeah.
everybody.
With Tony Blair.
But I mean, yeah, when you look at the facts, more Tories voted for it at the time than Labour did.
Yeah. But then this all comes back to Dick Cheney, doesn't it?
It all probably does, yeah. And there was
It does, though,
only
doesn't
and in fact, what's his name? Robin Cook? Didn't he
it? Yeah.
resign?
Yeah. He
Nobody
was
else. No one from the other
defense
side.
secretary, wasn't
No one from the other side resigned.
he? Yeah.
He was Labour at the time.
He was a principled
Um,
man.
yeah, I don't know, because you had that scandal with the weapons inspector. One of my favorite books, that I've told you about it already.
Yeah. Yeah.
Inconvenient Death, by the way. If anyone wants to watch this,
Yeah.
go read it. So yeah, I don't know. Margaret Thatcher, getting back to that. I know this is going to sound like people banging on. Oh, it's because you're from the north. Well, yeah, I am from the north, but it's nothing to do with that. She
Hmm.
sold off the public utilities,
Oh,
which
yeah.
look how that turned out.
Yeah.
That's just one. And then one of the biggest sources of drain of finances on councils and local authorities is the right to buy scheme.
Yeah.
It was so badly done. I like the idea behind it, long-term
I can't
council.
really complain about that because I was a recipient of it. So,
Yeah, yeah, it's great. And maybe if they then said, right, we're going to sell off the old housing stock for money because they're in big areas, good
use that,
areas.
yeah, because the
Yeah.
councils weren't allowed to use that money to build new houses, were they?
No,
Which is
that's a
crazy, isn't it?
specific rule that she
It
put
is.
in. I want to sell off these houses. I don't want the councils to provide houses to people who need it. And I
Doesn't
just
make any sense at
never,
all.
but she wasn't very good with money, personal money either. She was terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I spent the first parts of my career going to her house and looking after her.
Yeah.
And in the basement, in her control room in her house. And lovely lady to speak to. Well, she was at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they had to bring in they get the allowances, 115,000 a year to run their offices, which is basically a
Right.
bong for ex-prime ministers,
Mhm.
because she was going
Mhm.
to go bankrupt because she can't manage money. And they said, we can't have a prime minister going bankrupt. So what we'll do is we can't give her money directly. So what we're going to do is introduce this scheme where prime ministers have 100 odd thousand to run their offices.
Mm.
Anyway, so I think a lot of what the problems that we're facing now is to do with privatization in that respect.
Yeah.
And for anyone watching, I am not a fan of Labour. I've never voted Labour. So don't
Mm.
get on me. I'm not just because I'm from up north. I think they're doing a very bad job, but what can you do?
So what I'd like to do now, and is to bring it kicking as because seeing as this is French ear trumpet, is to bring
Oh
it
right,
kicking
yeah.
and screaming back into France.
Yeah, go
I
on.
found two stories that you might find interesting.
Go on and
So
hit
let me
me.
just get
Hit
them
me.
up. So um, chimney use set to be banned in 690 French communes.
Okay.
Open fires are considered to be some of the worst air polluters. So, bans on open fireplaces in homes are set to be in place in around 690 communes nationwide by the end of 2026 this year, with some wood burning stoves also affected in certain areas. The type of ban varies, depends on the department and or commune, but in most cases, only actual open fireplaces are concerned.
Yeah.
Um, but so the departments that ban open fireplaces at the moment are the Department of, is it Haute-Savoie?
Yeah.
Savoie? Lyon, Grenoble, Alps, Saint-Étienne and Forez areas, Strasbourg and the wider Lille area.
So it's all down the
Um,
southeast, I guess.
yes. There's also, they're talking about, where is it? Hang on. Yeah, they're talking about it being extended to 20. Oh, yeah. An increasing number of bans are expected to come into force by 2030 with regard to wood burning stoves and other closed hearth installations dating from before 2002. So if you've got a just an ordinary wood burning stove that was installed before 2002, by 2030, which is only 4 years away, there might be issues with it in some departments. So
Do we know which departments, or is it the same ones you just mentioned?
it doesn't say.
All right.
So it just says an increasing number of bans are expected to come into force by 2030.
Hmm.
So yeah,
I think
um,
because yeah, go on.
I was going to move on to the next story, but go on.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about that. Something similar has been going on in the UK for a while,
Mm,
and certain councils has the ability to fine you if they think the smoke coming out your chimney is too smoky or some nonsense. Anyway, I see what they're saying. The air pollution that it causes is massive.
mm,
And I don't know if you notice, we live like you do out in the middle of the country,
mm,
and the maps quite often show a poor air quality. And I never really
mm.
understood it because we're in the middle of nowhere. So how can it possibly be?
Yeah,
But it is mainly down to um, the air pollution from
yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean
stoves and stuff like that, I
we've
think.
got two, as you well know, we've got two ways to heat our house with a gas-fired boiler that runs central heat, but we can also run the central heating off of the back boiler of the log burner. So when we have the log burner running, um, we have to dust probably through as we do with the gas boiler because it's just in the air.
Yeah, there is the fine, like little grey or white dust that settles on
Yeah,
everything,
that's
usually
it.
around
Yeah,
the
yeah. So it was
stone.
on the TV cabinet.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Right,
you
next
think
story.
you're breathing that in as well, aren't you? Go on.
I know,
Go
yeah.
on.
So next story, and this will be this is relevant to you. So speed camera in Brittany reinstalled after being burnt 3 times. So a new speed radar has been reinstalled on a road in Brittany after previous versions were burnt and destroyed 3 times. It was vandalised and set on fire in October 2024 before being reinstalled, only to be burned down again in April 2025 and again in October 2025. As of January 2026, it's been reinstalled again and is programmed to check the drivers adhere to the 70 km/h limit on the section of the road. Uh, it's
Is it?
on the it's on the D4 between Lizio, Morbihan.
Ah, right. Okay. It's a bit further north and west, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, speed cameras, eh?
yeah. Actually, they got a phrase from here. Is it? It's called a money grabbers. Pomp F. Would that be freak? FRIC? I don't know how you pronounce
That
that.
means cop,
Okay.
frick.
Pomp F.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe it's a phrase, but frick is
Mm.
cop, means cop.
Okay. Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, I mean, there's increasing fines. I think we talked about it last week, but
Hmm.
I think there's increasing fines for speeding. If you go over 30 kilometers over the speed limit, in extreme cases, you could find yourself getting locked up.
Oh, can you imagine that? Nobody wants that, do they? And
No,
interestingly, a village that I work in a town nearby where I am, and where I work quite often, go for another little village, and there must be about, I don't know, 600 or 700 people that live in this little village, and they've got a little Mary and everything. And last time I went last week, everything was normal, and then midway through this week, everything changed, and every road has been changed to priority advance. Every single one.
really.
There's signs
That
saying
might get
it.
interesting, wouldn't
And
it?
yesterday there were people out with sanders sanding off the white lines on the floor, and they've taken all the posts out for the giveaways and the stops, and they turned it all to priority advance. And then today, on the way home back to the workshop, the gendarmes were there. There was about 3 or 4 cars pulling
Hmm.
people over who didn't adhere to the give way to the right, the priority
Yeah.
advance.
So is that a speed control thing then? So obviously people would slow down in theory,
In theory,
because there could well be a car dashing out in front of them.
yeah, in theory, but you can't help but think it's towards the end of their budget for the
Right. Yeah.
because of the time of year. This was starting probably,
Or we're no cynic.
yeah, I can see it. I can see it.
Yeah.
There's no reason. I mean, this little village probably has such a small amount of traffic for it. It's not even worth thinking about. And I can't imagine the accident, and certainly never heard of a death there because it's so small.
Yeah.
So I can't think of any plausible reason why someone would take all the giveaways and stops out
Yeah.
and spend the money changing that.
Well, there was where Graham lives. Sleepy little town. One road that goes through it. The previous mayor did a runner after he was accused of alleged embezzlement, and he had put a load of speed humps on the road, and there's probably like 3 cars a day that go
Yeah,
through there, and yeah, put a load of speed humps in, and obviously, there was something going on there, but yeah, when it came to had to be audited, and they found that there was this issue, he did a runner.
brilliant. I love it. But some of the Marys I think the power is being gradually removed from the Mary, if I'm honest. Like the planning
That's a
decisions are
shame, isn't
no,
it?
it is really. But then you think about it, if you know the Mary, if he's a good old boy,
Yeah.
you're likely to get your and you're good friends with him, you're likely to
Yeah.
get your thing passed. If you're not, then you're not. And I'm not sure
Mm.
that's right. I think for me, I'd like everything to be equally. It doesn't matter who you are, the rule applies. But
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
not
Well,
how
I
it
mean, that's
works.
all about the personality of the mirror, isn't it? So of of the mirror, and if people aren't happy with that, then they can vote, can't they?
Yeah, I don't know. Do you know? Have you met your mayor? Have you?
Yes. Yeah. He's not that nice, to be honest. He did
Uh,
hardly anything happens in the village where I am, and this is his last term. He's not up for re-election, so we've got a leaflet in the post for some thrusting young fella to
Thrust.
take over and revitalise the village, get a shop in the village, and all. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that.
Yeah, it's interesting how big how it's interesting how personally they take it when they do get a commerce sorry, a shop or a hairdresser or whatever. If they get
Mm,
that to move into the village, they are, that's good, really
yeah,
good.
yeah. Well,
And
we went into the Marie to ask for something. I can't remember what it was. We went and the young woman that works there, she's really good. She's always cheerful and she's really, really good. She really knows what she's doing. And the mayor was sitting in the office at a desk. We walked in. First thing he did, obviously, is say bonjour. He looked up at us and he just looked back down. Didn't even say hello.
oh,
Didn't even say bonjour.
them again. Oh my God.
It's outrageous. I was offended.
The guy, yeah, there is always a guy. My man sits upstairs, so you don't really see him.
Yeah,
But everyone speaks highly of him. But the guy that looks after the office, like the secretary, I guess, he's
yeah.
hilarious. He's really funny. Like when I went in for my broadband thing, I just walked through the door and he saw me holding bits of paper and he goes, "Oh, it's not for another broadband, is it?" Because everybody in the town has come in and asked, "You got to prove that you own the land. You've lived in a house for 10 years. You got to prove you own it."
Yeah,
Oh man, the paperwork. The paperwork. Oh, anyway. I suppose we're about done for time then, really.
yeah, yeah. That's good. Yeah,
Hopefully
so
you recorded
covered.
this episode.
Yeah, so we covered quite a lot of ground there, really, didn't we?
We started in Venezuela. We did a bit of a detour via Iran, Ukraine, Russia,
In
China.
Greenland,
Oh, lots of Greenland. And now passed by, came in through the top of the
then
UK.
movies.
Yeah, via Hollywood. And now, now we're back,
Yeah.
back in France.
Oh, actually, I'll tell you just quickly. I had my first bit of racism.
Go on.
Yeah, so I had to go to hospital. I got a pinched nerve in my shoulder. You know, obviously, Andy, but people watching won't. So yeah, got a pinched nerve. So I had to go to hospital Christmas Eve, and uh, because of the pain I was in, I hadn't prepared properly. So normally for that sort of situation, I'd prepare so that I know the relevant key words. So uh, got taken through, put in the treatment room. After about half an hour, doctor turned up, and he asked me what was wrong in French, and I told him, but I couldn't remember the the word for nerve.
I don't know it. So,
Yeah, I've forgotten it already.
all right,
But
good.
yeah, I couldn't. So I got my phone out like that, and he went, "Do you not speak French?" I said, well, yeah, but I don't know what this word is that I need to tell you. And he was like, he rolled his eyes, and he was like, "Is it?" It was almost like he was thinking, "Fucking people coming over here,"
Well, yeah.
you know?
Probably get the same treatment in the UK, wouldn't you? So,
Yeah, but yeah. So I thought, well, okay, that's how it feels.
well, yeah, yeah, that probably is. Yeah. In fact,
But
I remember my neighbour saying to me when I moved here permanently, before it was a holiday home, and took great pleasure in telling me I need to learn French.
mm,
And they do tell you very often you need to learn French, you need to take
yeah,
French lessons, you need to learn
yeah,
French.
yeah, yeah.
So
But
my area though is a very big Marine Le Pen area.
yeah,
So
okay, yeah.
it's that
That's
kind of
another episode,
situation
isn't it? That's another episode. We can
for
cover
sure.
that. Do some research on that. But yeah, I had to go back to hospital the day before New Year's Eve, and the doctor I saw then, he's a young fella, brilliant. To the point that he got his phone out and showed me a anatomical drawing of the nerve pathways and that, and really interesting. And it just restored my faith in humanity, you know.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good. You're gonna see it
Yeah,
everywhere. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, if there's anything that you'll take away from all of this old tosh that we've been talking about, if you're going to live in France, learn French.
Yeah, yeah. I know a guy who lives here. He's 85, 84 now. Lived here 20 odd years. Doesn't speak a word of French.
Yeah, yeah. I had the same thing. Years ago when we lived up in, not years ago, when we lived up in Normandy, about 3, 4 years ago. Um, I was getting me went to the pharmacy and there was an old boy in front of me, similar sort of thing, lived there 20 years, and he didn't speak a word, and I had to translate for him.
Hmm.
Didn't speak a word. And I thought, how can you live here for this amount of time? Because his wife had died. She was obviously the linguist in the family. And so she had died relatively recently, and he was like a fish out of water,
Uh,
really.
yeah, it's a shame that. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
learn
right,
French. No.
wrapping up. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I certainly did, and
Yeah,
hopefully Andy did.
always.
So if you'd like to give the video a thumbs up, that'd be great. Press the notification bell so that you know when there's new content. Share it on your socials, and maybe think about subscribing if you're not subscribed already. And all that leaves to say is that it's goodbye from me.
It's goodbye from him.